Okay, video for chapter number 9. So, chapter number 9 is about playing the harmonica in different keys on a single harmonica. Because, as you guys know at this point, single diatonic harmonica is in a single key. So, in order to help this process, harmonica players have come up with the idea of positions on the harp, which is basically just a uniform way of shifting up to the next key, essentially. So that you can refer to across harps what position you're playing in, essentially. So rather than being like, I'm playing in C on a F harp, you could just be like, yeah, play in third position. So that would be no matter what harmonica you're playing, it'll always be the same sequence of notes that'll lead to a scale and have certain characteristics depending on the different harmonica of what notes are bendable, drawable. Bendable in different forms and whatnot. So basically, this allows you to play in different scales, which I mentioned. You can play different chords or bend different notes easier in different positions. And he claims that second position is way cooler than first position. Is another reason that there's positions exist. And also using play different keys without buying more harmonicas. So basically for this chapter he goes into, well, basically based on the circle of fifths, you can figure out, he gives you ways to if you know the key and the tune of the song, if you know the key and the position and you want to find, there's a method for doing that, which you just given your circle of fifths, you start with you start on the key of the song you want to play, and you count the number of positions over, and then that's the key of the harp you should use, or if you have, and you want to figure out what position to play in for a given key, you just count the number of the least number of fifths or of steps in the circle of fifths. So it's basically when they be like third position will be 2/5 up from first position. So he then introduces the concept of like modes for scales, which are just like, if you think of a piano and you played all the white notes, it'd be a C. And if you played starting from the second note on the C scale, so D, and played a scale, it wouldn't actually be D because D has some black notes in it. But it would be like a modal scale of C. So and all the modes have names, which I don't actually know, but so basically he covers mostly like modes in this, because he doesn't really talk about that much about like what notes, because a lot of these require, if you actually want to play the scale, you need to bend the notes on certain steps. So he doesn't totally introduce that concept. He doesn't even introduce. This book is weird because he doesn't even he doesn't tell you how to play a C scale until the next chapter after this. So chapter 10 in the book, he doesn't even tell you how to play a specific scale. So he doesn't. He introduces this idea of positions and doesn't really explain it very well, in my opinion. I tried to look up more information online to clarify it a little bit. but he just introduces it as like basically having a home chord, and that so like with the first position, your home chord is going to be the blow note of 4, which is a C, or I think the blow note of number 1 as well. Yeah, so that's also a C. But like you start on, as you know, he mostly explains it in terms of like playing a melody and start with that and as your first and end note, and then also talks about the other. He highlights the other two. No, talks about, and of each of them, he talks about like the if you're playing just the first triad in the scale, and then he also talks about each some of the bendable notes in each of the scales, but again doesn't really introduce the positions in terms of actual how to play like scales. So then he gives, basically he just goes through each of the he goes through 6. There's 12 different positions. He goes through 6 of what he says are the most popular ones, and I think also the ones that require the least amount of bending notes. Some of the positions that he doesn't talk about like require being able to bend notes, whereas these just like if you wanted to play the scale as it the major scale, then you'd have to know how to do that. But so he just gives like this chapter is stupid. He gives us like a lot of like very short licks that you can play to kind of I can't talk right now. Familiar yourself with the position. So I guess I'll just go through some of those. A lot of this stuff is just like technical stuff so yeah, the blow 4 is the home note, so it's like something like that, or like so he just has like a lot of these little like snippets of stuff that are centered around that home note. So for 2, the second position, which is actually I think more common than first position, especially used in blues, it's like G essentially is the home note would be draw 4 or draw 1 instead of blow 4 or blow 1. It's centered on the idea like like your home chord, and then is blow first 3 for first position, and then draw of the first 4 notes is your G. So one of the licks for that would be like the blow the blow of the second hole is like fucked up. So if this sounds like kind of bad, it's partly my fault and partly the harmonicas. Yeah, it doesn't. Fuck that up. Also, the video stopped. Something like that. Or the second one is going to be Third position would be D. And it's centered around draw 4. Sorry, did I say draw 4 for the last one? That was not true. Yeah, draw 2 is what I meant to say for the last one. Which is, yeah. So anyway, third position, we got six. Is harmonica like not very good? So this one's not used for blues or rock or country that often, but it's used sometimes for folk or klezmer or jazz and sometimes classical. Fifth position then would be E. And it's traditionally used in a lot of blues things. It's more minor sounding. Yeah, so this is for blow notes 2 and 5, and 8 are the home notes for this one. So some of the licks have bend notes in them, which I can kind of do, but I can't really do very quickly. So that wasn't even bent down enough, but like going back and forth between bending and not bending quickly. Finally, we have 12th position, which is F, which is gained popularity in recent years. Very bluesy. So one of the licks for this one is or the second lick would be camera wasn't recording. I don't know how much didn't get recorded there. I was talking for a while. But I was just saying that like I think it'd be more clear like later when there's more songs that are in these specific positions to get a feel for what notes are in them, and you know, being centered around the home note, because I mean, just from playing snippets, like they were helpful to play to get a little bit better at just playing through stuff and reading the music, but I think overall that's not the best way to like get a sense of like what the positions actually entail or mean. So anyway, until next time.